Early in my career, I spent a day crunching numbers and I was really proud of the work that I did. But when it came time to share with my boss, I slapped a couple colors on the spreadsheet, bolded a few things, and sent it over. And my boss did not fully appreciate the analysis that I did because I undervalued formatting and the presentation of my numbers. And I know I'm not alone. Many analytical people think the job is done when the number crunching is done. And that's a problem because formatting represents the biggest opportunity to make an impact, tell the story that you want to tell, and make the file easy to use. And so today we're going to format this Excel model step by step. And at the end, we're going to go over some pro tips that will make you stand out. So make sure you don't miss those, and let's get started right now. And so to start, this file here is missing a title. And the title is an opportunity to tell the audience exactly what they're looking at and start telling your story. And so to add that title, I'm going to add a few rows here. You can right click and click insert to add a row, but you can also press shift spacebar and then control shift plus to add a row that way. And then the last thing before I add a title, I want to create an even buffer. So we've got this buffer row right here. And if I hover to where I see this black divider line, it tells me that that row is 20 pixels. So I'm going to highlight this column. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it over until I make that column 20 pixels. And that way you've got a nice even buffer and the row height matches the column width. And so I'm going to start with the header, and the header is just going to be what part of the business this analysis is for. And it's for our B2B cold brew coffee subscription business called How to Analyst Cold Brew. And down here, I'm going to add a subheader that further contextualizes what the user is about to read. And we'll call this annual revenue growth. And then the last thing from a title perspective, you'll see that the sheet name is simple right now. We can rename that sheet name, and I'm a little old school, so I'm going to use the shortcut key Alt-O-H-R, and I'm going to just call it revenue growth. And if that shortcut didn't work for you, you can always go up here to Format and the Home tab and click Rename Sheet. And I read every comment that gets left in my videos, so make sure to leave a comment and let me know what other videos can I make to help you with Excel. And moving on to color, we're going to use color in this model to distinguish groups of data from each other. And if you look at the model, you've really got three primary groups of data. You've got the months across the top, you have the outputs of the model in the middle, and you have the inputs for the model at the bottom. And so for the months, I'm just going to left click, highlight those months across the top, and I'm going to go up here to the Home tab where this little fill color icon, click the drop down, and I like this gray up top here. And then with the A, the red A over here for font color, I'm going to click that drop down and make the font color white. And I'm going to click on this B here to make the months bold. You can also press Control B to bold the months. And now the primary use of color for the outputs and the inputs is to distinguish which cells you expect the user to update values in. And so if you look at these outputs down here, these are all formulas that you don't want the user to update. So we're going to leave those as they are, but these variables down here, we do want the user to update those and model out different scenarios for revenue growth. And so in that case, I'm going to highlight the variables and go up here to the font color, click this drop down. I'm going to make them a different color, this blue accent one right here. And that signals to the user that these cells are different and you can actually enter values here. Now let's talk about lines in the spreadsheet. In general, hiding grid lines makes your model look more professional and cleans it up. And so to do that, click on View and uncheck this grid lines box right here. Now at the same time, it does make sense to have some lines in your model to help the user digest the information. So I'm going to highlight these cells across the top of the model. I'm going to go to Home. I'm going to click over here on the drop down next to the borders. And I'm going to give a thick bottom border to distinguish the header and the subheader. And then I do think some grid lines are appropriate in the model here. So I'm going to highlight these right here. I'm going to go back up to borders. And for line color, I'm going to click on this gray right here, and I don't want to do the option that Excel's giving me, so I'm just going to press escape and go back up to those border options and select all borders. And I'll do the same thing with variables. And since I just did it, I can actually get away with pressing Control Y to redo the action that I just did and apply those borders in the variables section. And then the last thing that I want to do with this variables here, I'm going to highlight these two cells. I'm going to press Control 1 to open up the Format Cells menu. And then under Alignment, I'm going to click this drop down to do Center Across Selection. It's going to center that variable word across the cells that I highlighted when I click OK. So moving on to number format, you see here that the revenue numbers are formatted out to 2 decimal points. And focusing on 2 decimal points when you're forecasting out millions of dollars of revenue is often too much detail, and the reader loses the forest for the trees. So at the very least, highlight these cells here and go up to this decrease decimals and press that twice to get rid of the decimals. Now, I would argue you could round these numbers even further. So what we have selected right now is the currency, which you can get to by clicking this $sign. And if you press Control 1 to bring up the Format Cells menu and then on number, you can go here to Custom. And if you want to format these numbers in thousands, just go ahead and delete everything after this comma. And then I'm going to add K to indicate that these are in thousands. And when I click OK, you see that the numbers are now formatted in thousands. And then for these adds and drops, I want a comma separator here. So I'm going to highlight them. And I'm just going to click on this comma style. And once again, reduce the number of decimals. So we're moving on to font sizing and bolding. And in general, when you bold something or increase the font size, you're calling the user's attention to that cell. So make sure you're calling the user's attention to the right things. And so you could probably get away with clicking on the title here, clicking on the bold, and increasing that font size so that the user knows what they're looking at. And then because this is a revenue forecast model, that means that this row 9 is the most important row in the spreadsheet. So to draw the user's attention there, you can highlight that and press Control B to bold those numbers. Moving on to when you want to share this file, since there's a lot of formulas here in the output section that you might not want someone to change, you can protect the sheet to prevent people from changing those cells. But at the same time, you want to allow people to change the variables down here. And so to enable that, press Control 1 to bring up our Format Cells menu. And now we're going to go to the Protection tab here, and we're going to uncheck Locked, which means when we protect the sheet, these cells won't be locked. And then click OK. And these settings don't actually take place until we protect the sheet. And so to do that, I'm going to click on Review and Protect Sheet. And you can update what you want the users to be able to do. I'm okay with what they have here. So type in a password, and then Excel prompts you to enter that password again to make sure it's right, and click OK. And so now when I try to change some of these outputs, I get an error saying it's a protected sheet. But when I go down here to the variables, I can make changes to those. And another pro tip that's going to make you stand out is to set the print margins for your file. People do still print these days, and I find that it's frequently people higher up in the company. So why don't you go ahead, set the print margin for them and make their life easier. And to do that, we're just going to highlight everything that we want to print. I'm going to go up here to Page Layout and click on Print Area and set Print Area. But the work here is not done. Press Control P to open up that print menu, and then Page Setup for the options that you're looking for. So I'm going to press Landscape, and then I'm going to make sure I fit it to one page wide by 1 page tall, and click OK. Now, in looking at this, the one thing that I noticed is that the column widths of the outputs are a little wider than they need to be. So I'm going to press Escape to exit the print menu. I'm going to highlight these outputs, and you'll see that I can't actually adjust the widths, because we protected the sheet. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to unprotect the sheet so I can adjust those widths. And I'm just going to double click to adjust the column width to the contents of the cell. And then I'm just going to widen it a little bit to give a little bit of room. And so that looks better. So I'll press Control P to open that up. And I can already tell that that width adjustment is making the cells fit a little bit better on the page. So I'm going to click OK. And that looks good. And you're going to want to see how I take this model here and I turn it into a set of professional looking charts and graphs. So make sure to check out that video and I will see you next time.